We got Mike Geisler here on bass guitar. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Where do you live now, Mike?
Live in Florida.
Oh, good. Where?
Yeah, Jacksonville.
I was just in Jackson. I just did a festival in St. Augustine, but I got a lot of friends in
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
yeah.
Played music there for many years. Nice part, nice end of the state. I like the northern part, but
I do too. You know, it's like South Georgia.
yeah,
It's not Florida.
it's really a part of the South down to about there. But after that, it's its own place.
It
isn't
is. It is. Yeah.
Okay, you live there now. How long have you been in Jacksonville?
I've been there since '96, and I moved from Minnesota.
From Minnesota.
Yeah,
That's a change.
yeah, it was.
Different fishing.
A lot different fishing, different weather too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a big change, a lot of change.
What took you to Jacksonville?
Well, I worked for Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and they were starting a liver transplant program down in Jacksonville, the Mayo Clinic, and they asked me to come down and set that up for the anesthesia portion of it. So went down there in '96, I think it was, and got that program up and running, and turned out to be the largest liver transplant program in the country after a while, even more transplants in Pittsburgh or a lot of the other centers. So that's what brought me down there.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
That's good work.
it was interesting work.
And what years were you in Germany?
I was in Germany from '66 through '69. I left in August of '69.
Your dad was Army.
Yeah.
What did
yeah.
he do?
I don't really know for sure. I just know he was in the Army, like a lot of people. You know,
Yeah.
my dad did things.
He was one of those guys that put on the uniform and went to work.
That's right.
There you
That's right. Yeah.
So, which band were you in?
I was in the Poor Man's Children. It was kind of the first band, I think, that this group we had. And Rich Passarelli and Bob Passarelli and I were the first three members. We kind of got together. We'd all moved there and decided, you know, we don't know anybody, so the three of us got together and we thought, well, maybe we can start playing guitar. And so we had a couple cheap guitars and we started playing in the bedrooms of one of our homes. And from there, it just blossomed into being a fairly good little band.
So, how did you transition over to bass guitar?
Nobody played bass.
Nobody played bass.
That's right. So
Somebody needed
yeah. No, so they said, "What do you want to play?" I'll play bass, you know. So went out and ended up getting my mother helped me buy a bass guitar and started from there. And then my dad became interested, and he was kind of the manager. You know, none of us could drive, so we got to the point where we could purchase a van, and we'd load all the equipment in, and my dad would drive us to different gigs all around the area, and that's kind of
And you played a lot of military bases.
a lot of military bases, yeah. Teen clubs, officers clubs, NCO clubs, and you know, just little scenes like that. And
Yeah, and then in those days there were a lot of American military bases in Europe and especially in
yeah,
Germany.
exactly.
I was at Rhine-Main myself.
Oh, were you? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it was some of my fondest memories growing up. Actually, you know, it had a big influence on my life, and I thought that was really neat to be a part of that scene.
Do you still play? Are you still active? Or?
You know, I play a little bit, but I'm not in any bands per se, and it's quite intimidating because these guys are pretty damn good. You know.
Yeah.
And
I heard some rehearsing going on there.
yeah, and so here's me coming in saying, "Hey, guys, I practice. I'm learning the best, but I'm not a musician, you know." And so, but they've been real supportive of that. So I think that's putting me at ease a little bit. Because I'll tell you what, I was pretty nervous driving up here from Florida, thinking, "Oh boy, I hope I can meet the needs of the band." But it seems to be going out okay. And everybody said to me, "Don't worry about it. We're just going to have fun." And I think that's the big deal here. Is we're going to have a good time. You know, and everybody else will too, I think. So.
Have you gotten to spend any time in Western North Carolina before this?
A little bit. Now, I was born in North Carolina, but when I was a year old, my father being in the military, we took off. So I kind of came back to North Carolina a couple times for 6 to 9 months, and then I I finished my senior year of high school in North Carolina. So
Where?
in Southern Pines.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that was kind of my exposure. But I call North Carolina home. But that just small spurts of time here.
Have you attended any other class reunions?
Nope, this is my first one.
How had you kept in contact with the Pastorelli brothers?
I have, but it's kind of interesting because I wondered where they were for years and years. And then in 96, 97, when I came to Florida, you know, the internet was kind of available, and I thought, I'm going to see if I can find these guys. And I did some searching, and I found Rich Pastorelli, and from there I found out where his brother was, and that's kind of how we touched base and got this thing going. And in the back of my mind, I always thought this would be a perfect thing to do, get everybody back together, you know. And there were a couple other people that were in our band that we really we haven't been able to locate, but so it's come to fruition. You know, I thought 2 years ago we were going to have it originally, and with COVID and everything happening, it kind of put a kibosh on it. So here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Wednesday night's going to be a lot of fun.
I think it will be fun no matter what happens.
I think it will.
You know,
be
I'm
too.
telling you.
I think you guys will be great.
Yeah, I think we'll have a good time. And it's, you know, in reality, this will probably be the last time, really, we'll all get together. So it's going to be important to have a memory. And I think the other important thing is that I can pass some of these good memories on to my kids, because they know I have a passion for music. I love music, and they're all excited to see what happens with this whole thing, and if there's the video produced, they're excited about that. As are a lot of my family.
So where are your kids? Are they spread out?
Yeah, they're spread out. One's in Denver, Colorado. Excellent guitar player. The other one lives in Jacksonville. I've got 3 grandchildren, and so, you know, what more could you ask for?
So, what bands were you influenced by growing up?
Oh, okay. The Beatles. I mean, that was probably the big band. And I was telling Rich and I was telling Bob yesterday. I said, "Do you remember when we got Sgt. Pepper's, the album?" And I think we got it from England because it was released a little bit early. And we came to the apartment and we put it on the turntable and we listened to it and we were just blown away. And in those days, that's how we learned music, where we'd play the disc over and over, the vinyl, and we'd take the needle up and set it down and say, what was that part? And we'd kind of pick it apart and come up with the music, because none of us read music. We all played by ear at that time. I think, I still play by ear. And so the times they're changing. We can't go to YouTube, or, you know, we didn't go to YouTube and just kind of look up something and find everything. It was a concerted effort, and we spent a lot of time teaching each other and sharing this information and pulling it out of 45s and LPs. And so that, I think the Beatles and a lot of the soul music, you know, the Temptations and the Four Tops and some of that music was
well,
really...
Motown was really big in them, you know, when I was coming up in the 60s. Motown was as big as anything else, you know.
It was, especially in Europe. It was really big. You know, when I came back to the States, Motown wasn't as big a deal, but boy, it had a big influence on the music in Germany in those early days.
Yeah.
So Beatles, Motown, you know, those were the big things for us, I think.
Well, welcome to the mountains. We're glad to have you.
Well,
I hope you
you know,
enjoy
I'm really looking forward to it. You can't beat this weather.
You can't beat this place.
No, you can't.
Whoever found this house is
I know.
deserves a pat on the back. It's a beautiful spot.
Exactly. So,
well, enjoy Wednesday night. We look forward to hearing you.
Well, we look forward to performing,
It'll
and
be
I hope
fun.
there's a smile on everybody's face.